One of the fantastic things about that game, number one, of course, was the fact that it was so close until the very, very end. Jayhow, there is a good opportunity here for Team Dignitas to be able to bring this series back to a 1-1 situation.
They obviously want to bring it back, but if we actually look at that, that was Dignitas' map choice. They'll have an opportunity to pick first pick or map choice again. I wonder what they'd feel comfortable with. Are they going to be more adept to say, hey, we want first pick this go around, we value that a little bit more? Does that get into your heads a little bit? So Dignitas, obviously, I'm really curious. Like, part of the fun up here, we don't get our program monitors behind the scenes.
Right.
I'm always excited to see the map.
Well, we're about to find out. In the last 2 series that these guys played, Team Expert lost both on Battlefield of Eternity and Sky Temple, but Dignitas lost on Towers twice in their last 2 encounters. So Expert is taking them to a strong map for themselves.
And they've done their homework. In the group stage, Dignitas got to pick map 3 times. Infernal Shrines, Cursed Hollow twice. Cursed Hollow has been banned by Expert. They've lost on Towers of Doom. Here we go, Expert picks Towers of Doom. So Expert, very brainy here in their choices so far.
Imagine that, the mad scientist at the helm leading them along with the rest of the team, of course. A phenomenal team has risen through the ranks, and now we move on to a map that is strong for Expert to round this out 2-0. Will they be able to do it as we head into the next draft to find out?
So if I'm coming into Towers of Doom as Dignitas right now, I'm thinking one thing. Let's go back to something a little bit more true and tried and tested. Let's not try and flare as much as we did last game. It punished us. You see the Medivh coming out there straight away. The respect to the mad scientist, none other than ADRD.
That's right. Important to note that in their last 2 series, in the 10 matches that they played, Dignitas let Medivh through twice, and each time they did, they lost. So
I was going to say, they're going to snap pick Abathur here. The one thing I love about that, they were willing to let Abathur through. Expert knows that they're going to go into Abathur. That's what they do. But what they do back up, we're going to see Murd in here from Expert. Shadow of a doubt there. But what they do is JPL loves to play ETC. I've got a lot of stats on the ETC, but we're not going to see it. But he loves to play that, right? And so I think that kind of takes it away. It's just a matter of what does Expert kind of pair with it, with that Murden pick.
The biggest win rates here, definitely Murden, Dahaka, and Rhaegar. And Expert, I think they had a smart philosophy for this tournament here. You're in the big stage. You're in front of thousands of fans here. Tens of thousands at home watching on Twitch as well. And then nerves are going to come into play. I don't care how cool you are. So to go with a standard composition as they had in game 1 is a lot safer than something that's so difficult to execute, like Dignitas' draft.
And I argue that kind of draft is one that really holds a lot of momentum in the sense that you get that win, you get that kill, you really, I suppose, get the morale up. Everyone's like super hyped, super happy. You're going to game number 2 and you're thinking, let's go for this one. But yeah, the Tracer test, it's been a bit of a talking point between these EU teams, but Expert going to show us straight away.
Well done.
The Tracer has been just kind of a linchpin for a lot of people in this tournament so far. It's been more prevalent than I expected it to be, and I've shared many a breakfast with someone like Athero at this tournament so far, and he has been just saying, give me Tracer all day, every day, and I will win the game.
Tracer, yeah. I mean, a well-played Tracer should pretty much never die in a game. The only question is, can she do enough?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I actually took the time to watch every single one of Nick's games on Tracer from Nick's perspective. I actually watched all of our Tracer players from EU, NNA. I watched all of Phase 2. In terms of pulse bombs landed, one of the highest percentages amongst his counterparts. Also, he had the single highest kill confirms with his pulse bombs. This man, I mean, I know that Nick's not a household name, and he might not be yet, but this guy is the real deal. You get him on volley, you get him on the Tracer, he knows what he's doing, and he is a force.
Do you think it will be Nick on the Tracer and not Athero?
I mean, the options are there, right?
There's options, yeah.
And that's the cool thing. So Athero can still be on an offlaner, Nick can still be on a mage. We don't know yet. That kind of flexibility is powerful. Greymane now. Very strong pairing with Abathur. Abathur Ultimate Evolution copy is fantastic on something like Greymane.
There's 2 different options they could have gone for Expert in that banning situation. Tyrell's nice. Sanctification would provide ample support. Obviously the chasing potential that we saw, which is once again going to be very prevalent here with a Greymane and a Kerosene looking to dive into the back line, but could have also been the Lucio as well, would have sped that team up. The Abathur hat works fantastically with Lucio as well. And the Sand Barrier would provide ample protection to almost emulate a Sanctification to some degree.
Just to throw that out there, of the 23 pulse bombs he landed, he confirmed 14 of those kills, which is an incredibly high percentage for Tracer players. There's a lot of numbers out there, but that is an incredibly high percentage. So we will see if Thero does play that, but on Towers of Doom, it was something that Nick played more often than not. Again, the flexibility of their draft kind of allows them to go both ways.
That makes a lot of sense. What do you think that's going to be the next choices moving forwards? Any thoughts?
Expert has a few directions to go. They can go with Muradin, solid, versatile, strong, high win rate. They can also pick up Arthas. Arthas does very well against both Kharazim and Greymane. He can't be the only warrior to defend against this, because we're going to be dealing with double Greymane with the Abathur copy. So you need 2 heroes that can defend either of the Greymanes effectively to protect a Tassadar and to protect the main support here for Expert. So this is the choice they'll be making now. What do we pick for that?
If I'm looking at Expert right now, you've obviously gone into that direction of we've gone for a Tracer pick composition. Let's try and keep that theme up. Let's look for more dive. Let's look for more opportunities to try and find those kills. Muradin, Arthas, as you mentioned, the hard CC is there, but they're going to go for their Varian, which is an old counter, really, to the Tracer, but now they're going to flex it with Garrosh obviously being that new taunt buddy. He's going to bring it back OG.
So that's interesting. Rather than defending double Greymane, we see an aggressive move with Varian and Li Ming picking off a single target, add in a little bit of Wolf Bite, and you've got a recipe for a big burst on a single target.
You know, there's nobody else with protected, by the way.
Then Varian?
Varian's there, Medivh's there, you know.
Yeah, it's true. Uther's gone, Medivh is gone, so going for that single target blow-up comp is very smart for Expert. Now, Dignitas still has a choice. They can go double warrior here. They see what Expert is putting on the table, a lot of single target blow-up, so it only makes sense to go with heroes that can protect themselves under such circumstances.
Could Leoric come in again, potentially?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
By the way, I think they expected the Varian the last time they played on Towers of Doom against Dignitas was earlier in Phase 2. Varian was the counter towards Tracer that game.
Oh.
And there's the Xayah Arthas.
That's an old combination that they ran a long time ago, back when Alex the Pro G was on their team. Muradin Arthas used to be their absolute go-to as a front line to be able to coordinate with one another.
I love this by Team Dignitas. I expect to see another Divine Palm coming out of Kharazim. He will protect either himself or Greymane. Muradin and Arthas can take care of themselves. Dignitas has an absolute firecracker of a draft here, and I wonder if Expert will be looking for solutions to deal with this.
This final pick for Expert now, because let's talk about this. Varian isn't that strong until level 10. He's looking to try and obviously get to that sort of stage of the game. Generally speaking, you look at the global or some strong wave clear to try and get that XP generated, try and find yourself in that position. Dignitas, with what they've shown so far, yes, they've got the Abathur for the split push, but then they've got a very sound four-man that are looking to collapse, are looking to abuse that levels 1 through 9.
I think Grubby makes a perfect point here, because with all that protection on the backside, Tracer can't be your only damage dealer. They might end up flexing a Thero onto the Tracer and getting some range damage here for Nick. Instead, they opt for the Leoric, which has that percentage-based value. So dealing with that heavy front line, those big health pools, they end up getting the Leo. I'm actually a little bit surprised at this.
Yeah, same. Leo leans a little bit more heavily towards both map control as well as damage against warriors with that percentage-based drain. Final note for me is going to be that Expert would love to get to the late game again. Level 20 Tassadar, Twilight Archon, just saying, last game, the cooldown was available again, and he still had the Twilight Archon available. That kind of Infinity Archon is absolutely amazing. But before level 20, I don't know if Expert's draft looked that good.
It's really interesting, the changes that we see here. Putting Snitch, he used to play a lot of Vala, he used to play a lot of Greymane, and so there's a lot to be said there about the carry style. Obviously, the Genji last game, I think he's more comfortable, but it feels weird because Mene, it's like he's like Merlin's ghost, right? It's like he used to be the Mage Master, and now it's just like, all right, well, you're now our Abathur player, which used to be Snitch's role.
Said it before, said it again. I think that the initial early game for Dignitas is fantastic. It's strong, and it's going to come down to Expert manipulating the map in such a degree where they don't feel that weakness from the early game. They don't find themselves compromised or caught in those situations, which Dignitas are hungry to find. If Dignitas find this early game, I feel like it's very hard for them to release the pressure that they generally sort of capture. But Expert, after last game, anything's possible.
Well, it's a good map for them as they have beaten Dignitas in the past few months twice on this map. We're heading over to our commentary team now as Towers of Doom might decide Team Dignitas' fate here at BlizzCon.
Dignitas possibly on their final lifeline here pulls out a composition that they are very comfortable with, but will it be enough for Expert?
It's going to be definitely extremely interesting. The first map, as we said, Dignitas was worried. Now they find themselves behind, and it's just a question of whether the draft for Team Expert is good enough. Interesting variant choice here as well. Maybe even trying to pick it away from Team Dignitas. Yeah. But if that was the intention, which to be honest I doubt a little bit, then it backfired hard.
That's
so
right.
I'm super curious, especially how the Abathur is now going to change it as the X factor in the draft.
It's been a few weeks since we've seen a variant for EU, but let's go ahead and hop into it here. Game number 2, Towers of Doom. There is a chance for Dignitas to tie up the series or Expert to grab the 2-0 and move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting one way or the other. We have 2 to the left in blue. Once again, our European team, our first European team with Bakery again on Kerosene. JPL on Merlin at the front line. Mena plays Abathur for them. We have Snitch on the damage with Greymane, and of course, Zelia on Arthas. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Team Dignitas!
On the right side in the red, Curson will start the composition with a Rhaegar pick here. Bad Benny playing the Varian. Look out for those engages. A Thorough Angel playing the Yorick and playing the Tracer. We're going to be having a Thorough on it. ADRD finishing off with the Tassadar. Give it up here for Team Expert.
There's definitely a lot to talk about here, but let's begin with the level 1 talent on the side of Abathur. Mena chose to go into the pressurized glance, which of course tells us already that it's going to be a heavier symbiote focus for especially Greymane, but also later on Arthas and even Muradin. Even Karazim can really benefit from it, and with the high mobility that Karazim has, he can chase down targets together with Abathur. Now there are a couple of options for Abathur players here. We could even see a hybrid, as oftentimes Toxic Nests are higher prioritized on this map to interrupt rotations, to slow them down, and to also have that poke damage. Team Expert in the past has played Abathur with a huge focus into Toxic Nests here, and even tried to set up huge traps where they are attempting to kill a target outright. That's something I think this doesn't quite follow, but with the lineup that they have, they are really trying to just extend a little bit more the strengths that already exist in their setup.
Personally, I wouldn't mind the Nest build. It's great against slowing down that Variant, especially post level 10 when he's looking for those fights, and will set up the kills here for Team Expert. If he can slow down the movement from Team Expert, it's going to be harder for Tracer to get those kills. The damage is quite low, actually, for Expert.
Yeah, the level 4 is what I'm interested in. If it's going to be Adrenal Overload, or if Mana is going to run a bit of a hybrid here, which is possible. Same time now, we have at the top lane the 1-on-1 we expected, with Arthas going up against Leoric. Zelia, of course, with his level 1 going straight into Consume Vitality here. But the one thing that really worries me when I'm looking at Team Expert setup is their Tracer. This is something that Dignitas has to be concerned about. It's just going to be rough because Nick is fantastic on the hero.
Yeah, just clarifying here, it's actually Nick playing that Tracer there, and he was one of the scariest Tracers we've had actually in the HGC this year. Him and his Chromia are his best heroes here, so Nick will be looking to get in and apply as much damage as he can. Already JPL has to run away. Yeah,
and Nick has really grown as a player over this entire year, and it's something that has been echoed by the Korean teams as well. They really respect him, especially the Chromie that you pointed out a moment ago. Is something that they're oftentimes concerned about when playing against Expert. Expert is actually trading extremely well into Korean teams in scrims, especially MVP Black, who say they're so difficult to draft against and we just don't know how to crack them.
Well, the pre-alter phase has already begun and both teams have grabbed one for now. The top left one is the only one left for contention, and Thorough actually misses out with the creepy hand here and has to sneak on back to the top lane.
Yeah, so at this point, Dignitas gets the extra shots in. It's 2 altars right off the bat, so Expert slightly behind. A bit of a misstep here, definitely, by Lorik. Has to be careful there. And also, we have Adrenal Overload now taken. So with that, we have now the increased attack speed, which is, of course, especially going to benefit Karazim.
Yeah. Karazim, Greymane, even Arthas to a degree, a wonderful pickup there for level 4. But getting pinched in the middle of the map here is Bad Benny as Dignitas will walk forward and get first blood.
Answering once and for all the question if you can actually kill Varian.
The answer is a major yes. But the problem is he still has to go to level 7, and that's where he becomes unkillable. But Team Dignitas definitely coming in here and making noise already. However, look at this top lane. A Thorough is really pushing Zelia back.
Yeah, but as you said, Dignitas is looking for the kills now, and they have to be aggressive, especially with them being behind in the best of 3. You need to win this map and force the third if you want to somehow stay in the tournament here. And JPL at the bot lane, still dealing with Nick, and at any point, if they later on can just chain the lockdowns, get a Storm Ball, the Howling Blast, and somehow lock Tracer into play so that Greymane can capitalize off those lockdowns, off the CC with a kill. That would be fantastic for them, since Tracer is still the main damage dealer for Team Expert.
It's going to be difficult. Things will get better, though, for Dignitas at level 10, with Go for the Throat being an option for them, diving towards that Tracer and trying to eliminate her. Team Expert and Dignitas are doing pretty well in terms of experience, pretty even at the moment as they work on grabbing the camps here, the bottom side being pushed in, though, as Dignitas grabs all 6 of them here, as Rhaegar went to the very top.
Mena with the Vile Nest now, the movement speed slow on level 7 for Abathur, so still trying to slow these rotations down a bit. But Expert has a heavy focus onto the top lane, whereas Dignitas is attempting to control the also important bottom lane of the map. And they grab the bell tower. 5 versus 3, because we still see Xaylia holding the top lane.
That's going to be huge here for Team Dignitas. Grabbing that early allows for them to anchor on that bottom side. Now, luckily for Team Expert, the ult's on the top left and the top right side. So if they come up here and get one of the trade-offs, they can then go to the bottom and try to get the best hour back.
But the trade works in favor of Dignitas.
True.
If they can get it, that's fantastic for them. Curse, on the other hand, is already channeling through, and so far Dignitas has not started their own. Question is, does Expert really feel comfortable enough to just move in? And they don't. They let it go for now. They trade the 3 shots against 5 and accept that they will be at a bit of a disadvantage for now.
Both teams just looking to get to 10 here. Dignitas showing more aggression than Team Expert. Expected that change when both bombs become available, and also Varian when he comes online. The ever so important taunt, going in for the engages, locking down a target and attempting to blow them up.
Yeah, right now the top lane is where Expert is focusing their attention to. Now they have 2 choices here. They can either attempt to take back the bell tower at the bot lane, but they don't really feel confident enough to go up against Team Dignitas toe-to-toe in these fights just yet. They are focusing on the top lane instead, trying to at least trade for a bell tower on the opponent's side, but Xaylia is always there. And Abathur is the X Factor. He always helps out, and we see it again. Xaylia moves in, Abathur jumps in with the symbiote, and immediately Ethereal and Curson have to retreat.
I love how safe, though, Xaylia is playing. Even with the Abathur hat coming in, he's not chasing past the line of minions that get destroyed there. He knows that Team Expert could show up, and Team Expert has shown up. They bring all 4 to the top. They want this support. They want level 10.
They're done with it. They're saying, okay, 2 are not enough. How about 4? Can we get it now? And even with Mena and Abathur, Xaylia just says, all right, this is not working out here.
But Dignitas responds beautifully. They grab both mercenary camps here, getting 6 sappers pushing on the bottom side. And if they can get a couple of these to peel forward, Team Experts can take more shots at the core. Defending this will be difficult.
10 versus 10 as well. Leoric in the mid lane. That's where he meets Arthurs. Down here, Varian is trying to stop them for now. But as you said, any shot that they can push through would matter in the long run. But so far, Expert is doing well with the defense. But they are spending a lot of time as the altars are activating again. And Expert has pulled it off, at least for now.
Bad Benny protected enough there to make sure he's set up and defending against the push coming his way, and now they will step forward, and they have 2 things they have to do. They can either A, go to the top left here and try to circumvent and go for the fight, or take back to the bell tower, and they've chosen to elect to stay back here on the backside, allow Leoric to be in the middle lane, soak a little bit, and delay the top altar while they attempt to take this bell tower back.
Mena currently positioned in the mid lane with Abathur. He could move to the top and try to slowly whittle away at the ammunition of the fort. We have the channels going through in the meantime, and that's the first 4 shots fired. Expert goes down to 23 against 33, but we have 1 altar still available. Expert opts to take down the bell tower on the bottom of the map, though.
And they're going to give away the altar. A few more shots going for Dignitas as they take a very, very clear lead here. 33 to 20 of their opponents. The problem is Team Expert map control is going heavily into their favor.
And of course, we all know that this is a map where in the early game you can give up a lot and come back swinging later on in the game when your entire composition just gains a lot more momentum. And that's what Expert is doing here. They are sacrificing an advantage in the early game, even though it is an Abathur composition that they're facing here, and they are willing to play for the late game. And at this point, they hold 5 against 3 of the bell towers.
They hold 5-3. Mercenary camps being grabbed from Dignitas. This continues to be their game plan to steal away the mercenary camps. They can clear it quickly with the Kerosene and the Greymane, and they grab the second one on the right. Now Team Expert will be forced to defend, but is this the time that they decide to go ahead and elect for a fight here? That Varian is ready to charge forward and bring the taunt.
Leoric is at the top lane, so it's very unlikely since Abathur could help out right away. But talking about taunt and talking about Leoric, with taunt being used, March of the Black King can gain a lot of value in these fights if that is synced up properly. So there's definitely a lot of blow-up potential for Team Expert if everything is locked into place. Now, Leoric pushing the top lane is going to give Expert potentially leading experience, and it's very unlikely that Abathur can stop that push. And at the top lane, there is now even a camp moving in, so someone has to react to it, or that's going to be 3 shots for Team Expert.
Nick is going off right now. He just stopped 3 sappers from charging forward and jumping on top of that bell tower by bringing in that melee strike there from Tracer. And now he's looking for a fight. He moves in, does some damage to JPL. Not going to be able to get a kill, it looks like here, but he pulls away. And Team Expert is showing they're not afraid of their opponents. They just need to find the right fight.
Yeah, they're definitely in a position where they're willing to take the 4 versus 4. But as we saw with the picture up at the top lane, that camp went through. That's 3 points off the core of Dignitas, so they're down to 30 hit points on the core against 20. Still a comfortable lead, but they need to be careful, especially since Expert is now hitting level 13 a bit faster.
13, that's it. Leoric is on his way down, but carries him on the backside. Bakery is doing his best to grab the altar, and he gets it easily. Mane goes forward, but this is an Ultimate Evolution clone. If it falls, it's no big deal.
But they were able to get the altar. That's a big deal here. They actually pushed forward so much that Expert had to retreat, and that time window was used by Dignitas to channel through. That was actually extremely well done, considering that they had talent behind. It was brilliant.
Team Expert needs to turn up the fire soon here. They're behind 30-17. Things they can do: get aggressive on the mercenary camps, try to force their opponent into a scenario where they take a fight finally. The thing was that Team Expert was a bit slow in that rotation. Leoric hanging in the middle, getting that 13, finally decided to pull on back, but Dignitas right now is just very courageous. They are very willing to move forward consistently, and once again, they take another Merc camp.
Dignitas can't let up. That's the problem they have right now. If at any point they really lose control over the game and Expert gains momentum, that might be the end for them. So Expert is trying to gain that advantage, gain that momentum, but so far they haven't really found the targets yet. Nick is always poking away the entire time, but we have a flank coming in as Arthas goes in, tries to lock down, doesn't hit Nick though. Tracer moves away, but Abathur has retaken the bell tower up to the top.
That he has. It means 4 for 4 on terms of shots here for our teams. Bakery goes forward. A Stormbolt will connect. JPL having the flank there. ADRD using Dimensional Shift to get away. Nick also getting hit with the Howling Blast. Dignitas just seems to be outplaying Team Expert at every single turn.
But Expert is doing a fantastic job with at least the Zero just moving from lane to lane and making sure that he gets the experience for his team. They are still a little bit ahead. So it's an interesting game since Expert is angling for the experience advantage that translates into a talent advantage and then looks for the fight. But Dignitas is really keeping the distance really close. And Mane in particular is just soaking experience everywhere, but also jumps into the team fight when he's needed.
As I tell my Rainers in Hero League, at some point we have to come fight though. Team Expert needs to group up and get into an engagement, and this may be the chance here. 3 altars spawning as it will be the 5th phase here as Dignitas and Team Expert are looking for a few more shots on the core.
Abathur moves forward. He could go for the channel here. We already have Muradin anchoring for him, making sure that he is safe and protected. And a potential interrupt against the Thero as he tries with Leoric to channel through. JPL is there. Shots are fired, literally. Bakery once again trying to do the same down here, but Bad Benny moves in and makes sure that he gets the interrupt, at least for now. And they are trying to get that second one. It looks very likely that they will get it. 2 altars against 1 once again, and that means that Team Expert is down to 9 points on the core.
26-9, but they do get a bigger advantage in experience. Only slightly though, about a quarter of experience over their opponents, but it might be enough to get them towards level 16. Team Expert was aiming for 2 altars during that phase, but Dignitas, applying the pressure, using Abathur wisely, are able to continue to extend their lead. And they're looking to go ahead and dance on side here. If they see an opportunity, they go in, but Dignitas doesn't have to do anything that requires too much pressure.
Expert is going to give this one up. They're half a level away from 16. They know they hit it faster. They don't want to fight for this camp just yet. They want to get 16, and then they will try to be aggressive and make a few moves here. But they are running out of time. It's 9 points on the core. That is just not enough to play games here. Mane is going to lose that copy, but they are winning the bell tower, and that is huge. Leoric at the top lane is reacting and trying to pay them back in kind. Very likely to claim it in a few seconds, but both of the teams are nearly at the same time hitting their 16. Expert needs to, at some point, just go for it.
Dignitas and their superior control of the mercenary camps are proving to be a bit too much here for Team Expert. Sure, they're even in experience, but way too far behind and losing out on the bell tower on the bottom right. You remember how long it took them to take this bell tower back last time? Now in the late game, when Dignitas has more kill potential, it's even more difficult.
And Leoric didn't get the one at the top lane yet. He will eventually, but he's missing down here now. Cleansing touches there for Dignitas. The power spike is huge for them, and they're trying to use them right now. The big engagement tool with Muradin and now relying on 16 finally on this Swarf launch. They have 5 of the bell towers. Leoric will grab the top, but Dignitas is putting in the pressure, and they are the ones looking for the kill.
Nick sidesteps and engage there from JPL, just barely not getting hit there with the heavy impact, able to back up, harassing where he can, but he has to be careful. One time if he gets caught here, he will fall victim to Dignitas as they continue to control the bell tower on the bottom side. The top finally does fall here as Team Expert will be able to grab the bell tower back.
Mena's going to shift position with Abatha's body pretty soon to put the pressure on over there. For now, though, they are still aiming for the next altar. And if they can channel this one through, there would be 5 points on Expert's core. Boss plays are still available here as well. This is getting closer and closer, and Team Expert, as we said, they're running out of time. They have to take a chance at some point.
Both teams fighting over one lone altar. JPL and Zelia move forward to control the choke on the right side.
They're going in, they're trying to go for the kill here, but immediately Leoric is already moving out. His Archon is being popped by AD already. A strike, March of the Black King, oh my god!
A Thorough gets a huge value on March of the Black King. He turns around, he wants more. JPL finally helps secure the kill, but Nick is looking for the clone. He takes it away. JPL backing up here, hoping to heal on up.
And at the same time, we actually see Bakery using the palm on the clone here. Clone is destroyed, but it's still a 5 versus 4, but it is Expert who gets the channel. 22 points against 9. This is still back and forth over here. And right now, it's 17 versus 17. Dignitas is on the move. Once again, they're trying to control the camps. They know that the Thero is not back just yet. They aim for the kill. They want Tassada, and they might get him.
The Ancestor healing does miss, but Zelia gets focused down. Will he fall? He does. Curtin goes in for the bite, gets the kill. Snitch trying to retreat here. Nick, he wants it. He has to back up, though, with the tower hitting him.
And also the bell tower is retaken. They need to retreat, and they need to retreat fast. Bakery, does he have the dash?
2 seconds.
It doesn't look like it. He barely gets away. He gets the cleanse in, but Bad Benny is already waiting for another quick charge, and he doesn't get it. Taunt was ready, but JPL with a stun.
JPL with the save there, but Team Expert with it all said and done gets a 1-for-1 trade, but they take back the bell tower.
And this game is not over by a long shot. 9 points are all you need here. 9 points against 22. Expert is starting to take the camps, and they have some momentum going for them now. We have at the top lane the bell tower that will be reclaimed as Greymane moves in, and Snitch, with the help of Abathar, is going to have an easy time reclaiming it.
But with Snitch being in the top lane, it's a huge tail to Team Expert. They know they can go ahead and commit to the bottom left bell tower. They move straight on in. But Team Dignitas, they make an aggressive play themselves. They move up for the boss here with Bakery and JPL starting it. Snitch will finally join.
They have the vision at the bot lane. They know what's happening, but Leoric is sniffing it out. Aethero will be too late here. He tries to go for it. He's trying to buy time. Aethero is being attacked. They're going for Leoric. He moves back out, and he dies.
No, he turns around with the punch. He's turning around here.
What?
Baker's getting low. Finally, he will fall. Team Expert made the call to give it up, but a Thorough almost taking a trade there.
If that March of the Black King would have kept him alive long enough for them to come and help him, that could have ended in a disaster for Dignitas. I saw him die 3 times there before he actually went down. But still, 5 points on the core. But the Storm Talents are going to hit earlier for Expert, and altars are spawning, but it's a single altar on the map. Dignitas, they only hold 3 bell towers against 5, but that's still a hit they can take.
Dignitas may have to consider to give this up. Right now, they're trying to force a fight, and Team Expert is doing everything they can to evade said fight. Zelia taking some damage here. Cleanse will be used there, as we're going to have the Kerosene coming in and saving the day. With that 20 about to hit Dignitas, they give up a few shots here. 5 will collide with their core, but Team Expert are trying to catch them on the retreat back.
20 isn't there yet, but they're trying to take the camp down. 1 last pumpkin, 2 pumpkins still surviving for now. Finally, 17 minutes in, extremely late. We see the quest talent on Murden completed. At this point, the Storm Talents for Expert have hit. 5 bell towers against 3. Dignitas wants the experience, and Expert is trying to build up that momentum that they so desperately need to make sure that they close the gap in core points.
This bottom bell tower is everything for Team Expert. Constant pressure with them grabbing the Merc camp, trying to keep Team Dignitas in this area. This is great for multiple reasons. One, if the ultra spawn top, Dignitas will be down there, the rotation will be slow. If the ultra spawn down in that area, Team Expert will be able to have the control and an anchored location to move into.
And Mena is everywhere in this game right now. He has 21,000 experience points gathered against the 7,000 that the rest of his team has on each hero. When we're looking at the siege damage, on the other hand, it's really Leoric that takes the cake here. 150k as Abathar sits at 120,000. Both of them, throughout the entire game, have done an exceptional job pushing the mid lane, pushing the top lane, and always trying to get the experience and the wave clear going.
Team Experts still setting up camp here on the bottom side. Dignitas looking for something they can grab. They could possibly move in and grab Leork on the top side, but if a Thorough is quick to respawn, he should be able to escape. He drops a Wraith Walk and he gets away, but he's still low on health.
Yeah. Barely gets away here. And the 20 is something that I am actually worried about for Team Expert when I look at it. Hive Mind taken on Abathur. Rewind with Muradin is going to be a huge game changer here as well. And the Legion of Northrend. Survivability is huge, especially with Bakery also picking up the Storm Shield.
But Team Expert, they have superior positioning right here. They're able to control these chokes. It's going to be hard for Dignitas to move in and force this fight.
And let's not forget the Twilight Archon value that we actually saw in the last game already. Death March now too. This is going to be, there could be the one fight. It all depends on it. Is Dignitas going to be able to win it? 19 minutes in, Arthur's completing his quest as well. They're going for Snitch. The palm is there, maybe a bit premature, but they are able to save the target. That's the most important part.
The palm was way too early there from Team Dignitas, and they may have to give this up. Yes, they decided against it. They're going to give up the shots, and 4 more collide with Dignitas' core. 12 to 5.
Oh!
Nick moves in, and he stuffs Snitch.
Nick with a kill, moving in, he sees an opportunity and he just drops gaming.
JPL gets low too, and Team Expert now has gotten a major kill here, taking Greymane out of the equation for 49 seconds. This allows for them to control the map and continue to move in for camps.
Dignitas is starting to lose the control over the game. It's 11 points against 5, and Team Expert has sniffed blood in the water. They are moving in here. We have the rotation to the top from Team Dignitas. They are actually willing to take the shots at the bot lane, but they want to reclaim one of the bell towers. They want to have the 5 versus 3 here, but Expert is moving to the top. The shots are fired at bot lane as the sappers come through. 8 points against 5. This is getting closer and closer.
8 to 5, and Dignitas was unable to grab that top bell tower. With everyone disappearing from the bottom side, they pulled back and they played safe. They grabbed the mercenary camps instead and allowed those to push by themselves, while Team Expert grabs back the bell tower in the middle.
And as I said earlier, Expert, if you listen to their comms, if you watch them scrim, they are always calm. Clinical approach to the game, sharing information, very, very quiet. Just say, where do we go? What do we do next? Whereas for Dignitas, there's a lot more emotions usually riding on these comms. So at this point, they can't be happy. They've been so far ahead, but Expert has played this calmly, collected, and they waited for their chance. Dignitas is getting nervous here, and you can tell by watching the game.
There will be one more piece available for both of our teams in about 20 seconds, and that is the boss. It will be spawning to the very north here for our teams. Leoric continues to double soak top and middle lane, and luckily for Team Expert, they have control on the bottom left side, and they're forcing a fight on the side here. Varian, he's protected. He's kiting backwards.
Here comes the Ancestral. The shots are going through at the bot lane, but Dignitas wants to fight, and they're getting it. They're trying to go in once again, but at the same time already have the shot. The palm is connecting this time. Snitch is still alive. They're trying to go in. Here comes the Abathur copy. Yes, they're trying to get the kill against Nick. Nick moving away on Tracer barely. Mena about to lose the copy. Here comes Muradin. Tracer is down. A 5 versus 4, but Dignitas finds themselves on the run as Leoric is still at the top.
JPL, he's gonna fall New York.
God.
He's channeling the top left corner. If he gets his channel, he'll be able to take the game here. Zalia's about to fall as well, but the 5 shots come in. Team Expert has stuck New York, and they have gotten the victory over Dignitas.
Team Expert take the victory. Dignitas looks for the 5 versus 4. They accept the camp at the bot lane to go through, and they bank everything. Their tournament life on the one team fight, and they end up losing it. The 4 versus 5 goes over to Expert as Leoric is at the top and channels the altar through 5 bell towers against 3. And Expert is victorious and proceeds to face off against MVP Black in the semi-final.
You talked about it. Team Expert, calm, methodical, and it showed there. Their entire tournament life going to a game number 3 may have been on the line, but they still called Leoric. Go ahead, run to the top side, grab that altar. He even went to the other one there, knowing Abathur could delay it if need be.
And he tried.
He tried to. And we saw the win go over to Team Expert. Gotta love the calm gameplay.
Absolutely insane here as well from Dignitas. They just said, we have this one chance. Let's take the team fight. We have vision on Leoric. We can take a 5 versus 4. And they got the kill against Tracer. But then all of a sudden, Muradin falls, the entire rotation gets slowed down. Abathur can't stop Leoric from channeling through. And with the 2 camps that have been pushing through just a little bit earlier, and the 1 tower taken, it was just enough for Expert to take it with a 2-0 against Dignitas of all teams.
Ridiculous. Well, enough from us. Kevin Johnson is ready on the stage there with Bad Benny. Let's go over to him.
Thank you so much, Trixler. I am here with Bad Vinny. You are a visually relieved player here. You are so excited, I can tell. I gotta tell you, when we heard the interviews from Dignitas going into this match, they were concerned with a best of 3, you might pull out some kind of crazy cheese strategies or something like that. You guys played solid, clean, heroes of the storm. How are you feeling right now after that victory?
As you said, very relieved. We honestly had no idea how it would go, because Dignitas series usually go to like the length, and then it's a coin flip. So we're very happy we managed to do a 2-0, and yeah.
Well, you should feel very confident, and I have to ask you right now, does this win really seat you guys as one of the best teams in the world that can stand with the Dignitases, the Fanatics? Do you feel that way? Do you have the confidence that it takes to win this tournament?
I have the confidence, yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so going into the semifinals tomorrow, MVP Black, what are you thinking?
They looked really strong today versus Freedom, but we've had pretty good results in them versus in practice, and we kind of know what they want to play, so we are pretty confident, actually. We're more confident going into that than we were today, I think, so.
All right, well, I'll let you go celebrate with your team. Thank you so much. Congratulations once again. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, Team Expert takes an incredible 2-0 victory over Team Dignitas. Let's head over to Caleres and the crew for their thoughts.
Thank you very much, Kevin. Indeed, 2-0 to Team Expert. What a victory for them. And I follow other things, you know, in the world. And in something that I follow, we have a chant, which is fight forever. And I really, really wish we got to see these two teams fight forever. As much as it was a 2-0 victory, the games were so close. That final fight down towards the bottom, such impressive feats from both teams.
A completely different atmosphere from the other series as well. This very long period, protracted tension, and then finally culminating in 1 or 2 team fights. This is the kind of high-level play that you would expect from Europe's finest, where no one makes any silly mistakes, any early kills, just very fine tension, truly.
That standout play from Nick down there in the death zone at the bottom, just absolutely insane. The get stuff there, me and Grubby over here going on about it. I talked about Nick in the draft, and I really want to emphasize how amazing this guy has progressed throughout the year on this roster, and he shows it there, and he'll find himself in the top 4 tomorrow. That's awesome.
I mean, we had concerns about the draft as well. We're thinking, man, this competition's so one-dimensional. It's Tracer or bust. Where else do they go? You're saying about the Leoric as well. Like, not too sure if I'm really sold on this idea, but they brought it to late game, which was their strength. They find that ability to turtle and snowball, and not snowball, but I suppose stall out, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, it is like that. Expert needed to get to level 20 in order to have a fighting chance. Yeah. They were very far behind on core shots by that time, but Tracer is going to end up being instrumental. Let's jump into this replay here. I've got 2 short, really cool moments here. They're not going to be incredibly technical at first. We see Nick here as we play the game. We see that Nick is going to be jumping in like this on Snitch. He's going to threaten Snitch. Look at this. That's the taunt. Stop this for a second. Get stuff talent here on Tracer means she can instantly blow up any target. Greymane right now is in kill range. I believe Bakery did not make a fatal mistake here with the Divine Palm. I believe this is truly, as we play it forward, a battle of wills. Nick and Bad Benny completely represented a kill on Greymane. As we play this forward and we get to the second replay here, they sold that kill so well. And Bakery had no choice but to use Palm. The only mistake here really, let's look at that again, okay? Because that went a little bit fast. Do we have any slower play here that actually works out? As we see, Nick coming in here, blink, 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 goes on Greymane. Boom. That went very fast, didn't it? And that's that level 20 talent. By using the melee ability on Tracer, she can instantly proc her Quantum Spike and kill a target. It wasn't the early Divine Palm, I believe, that got them killed. It's the failure to recognize that within the Divine Palm downtime, Nick, by baiting out that palm, would try to find another kill somewhere on the map. And this is, in the end, what gave Expert, I believe, the best chance to win this game.
I mean, there were concerns also, if you're looking at the draft of Dignitas, who reliably do you actually kill? You know, they're all these beefy targets, quite elusive to that same manner as well, but you're thinking, okay, they have this strong early game, they have this control squad, this sort of like five-man ganking squad, so to speak, and that was a big part as to why they dictated those shrines and found themselves in a position as they did, but You know, Expert, they stall, they get a pick like you describe, and they come away with a 2-0, which you wouldn't imagine was going to be the scoreline going into this head-to-head between both EU powerhouses.
A big question, Jay, how that arose a few months ago was actually when Expert was able to go to the Western Clash over Team Dignitas and then able to make this the final going up against Fnatic, everyone's like, but that wouldn't have happened if Team Dignitas was here. That wouldn't have happened if Team Dignitas was here on a LAN setting. And then, you know, they played twice in the phases, etc., and it was very close each time. But on a LAN setting, Team Expert versus Team Dignitas, a very different story to what we all predicted.
And as Kevin pointed out, the relief on Bad Benny's face showing up to such a huge stage. I mean, we had a huge audience watching that here live, so you know the pressure is going to be there. The fact that they can step up their game in a live setting, as you said, yeah, they come in as the #3 seed, but I think we all know that in Europe, it's always kind of been about a top 3.
Yeah.
Liquid kind of fell off. Expert happily picked that up, and as you said, the second place at Western Clash, it seemed like just a step in the right direction. This is another monster step for them to continue on.
What stood out to you, Jay, when you were able to kind of observe Expert as you did over these past 2 games?
The thing about it is that they started to, I guess, it really relied on Nick. I really can't speak highly enough about them. I've watched every single one of his Vola games, his Tracer games, things like that from his perspective. And it seems like when I compare him to other people in his region, in North America, I've watched all these games from individual perspectives. He does a lot of the little things right. That thing that Grubby pointed out is one of the single best plays you will see, baiting that out. And it's moments like that, it's just another notch above everybody else. It's that we've always known them to be weird. They've changed their draft. They still have all the little macro tricks that they do that only in Europe really exist. So that's why I think Bad Benny's like, hey, we had good results against Black. Black doesn't have the same familiarity, so there's a lot that they do. They put a lot on the shoulders of Nick, obviously, I think, in that carry role. And then, of course, their macro game, it really seems they're coming into a form that is a strong contender.
In a best-of-5 against MVP Black tomorrow, though, what are we thinking?
Expert looked good today.
Yeah.
I'm still a little shocked that Team Dignitas has been eliminated from the tournament, but it's by a very worthy challenger. Expert looked good. MVP Black looked absolutely dominant, but against probably a slightly weaker opponent. So I believe we could have quite an even match on our hands.
Yeah, definitely if it goes to the full best-of-5. And of course, MVP Black is no stranger to the idea of something like a Medivh causing some problems. So that's definitely something that they're going to have to consider as well, Skimmy.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to obviously run your mind back to what happened with Roll20 when they ran with the Medivh and they ran with the Diablo, and they said, look, this is what NA do, and this is how we're going to try and beat the Koreans and, you know, bring you down that little peg from your high horse, so to speak. But I mean, yeah, in the best-of-5, there is obviously a lot to discuss. There's a lot to envision. I think it comes down to the draft. Once again, this is MVP Black, arguably the best drafting team in the world. Are they going to be that one step above and have that much that they've stuck and sort of hidden away from the Korean boot camp that Expert got to experience?
On the flip side, this is I guess for a team like Team Dignitas, a round of 8 here on the international world stage. Not where they wanted to be at all, unfortunately for them.
No, I don't even remember what they answered. I think they answered top 1 only, right? Because we ask all these teams their ambitions for the stage, and we kind of want to see how upstart teams rank themselves. Do they have humility, or do they have grand dreams that far exceed people's expectations? For Dignitas, it's almost like we don't even have to ask. They want to be #1. They've been #2, they've been #1, they've been #3. They want to win, and now top 8, it feels strange, but I feel like they're going to have to go into a period of soul searching. Dignitas has been one of the biggest household names in Europe, and to lose out here in the quarterfinals, it's, for them, I imagine, unacceptable.
Well, exactly. I mean, on the LAN stage, this is their lowest performance since 2015. That's a long, long time ago for a team like Team Dignitas here, Jay Howe, to feel that kind of level of defeat here, unfortunately, for them.
I really tried to figure out what it was that made Dignitas just not seem at the top. We saw the double support meta kind of come into play. It forced Snitch off the flex role over onto the hard carry role. Mene, obviously known for playing mages, but with all the different armor in the game, it makes them a little less appealing, things like that. That burst style, you need more sustain. And so it's felt a lot different since they made that change, and it almost feels like the meta maybe got a little bit of them here in the second phase, obviously failing to qualify for Western Clash. Picked it up in Europe, showed up here, but I really wonder if the meta, maybe as Grubby said, doing some soul searching, maybe a little bit of practice on some different heroes. We'll see them, I'm sure, going forward, but probably a different style.
Well, of course, 72 heroes in Heroes of the Storm currently, with a few more going to be joining us later down the line, of course, with the reveal of Alex Straza and Hanzo. Very excited for that. But of course, the key art here for BlizzCon for Heroes of the Storm is an itty-bitty little guy called Probius. Okay, he's kind of big. He's a pro. But he can be pretty big, but he's small all the same. Let's head over to Probius, who is with Solid Jake.
What's up? Thank you, James. And yes, I am here with Probius, actually. He's about 6 feet tall here at BlizzCon 2017. And Probius, who are you rooting for here at BlizzCon 2017? It's a kind of a weird opinion there, Probius, but I'll accept it. I'll accept it. Now, Probius, we know a lot about you. You joined us here in the Nexus this year. But before that, you had that epic defense on Ire where you had to defend off the Protoss. What was going through your mind when you were summoning that pylon to save your forces? Yeah, it was pretty scary. It was pretty scary when that was going down. Probius, when it comes down to it, who is your Protoss best friend? He likes Artanis. Tassadar's kind of lame, but he's all right, I guess. Well, guys, Probius is going to be roaming around all weekend long here at BlizzCon, and I'm going to be meeting a lot of the players that are here at the event, behind-the-scenes footage, all on the Blizzard Heroes of the Storm esports Twitter account, so be sure to check it out. Check out Probius, as he'll have his own stream roaming around, and we'll see you later. Back to you, James.
Thanks very much, Solid Jake. Don't let him cannon rush you, that little guy. He's a feisty one. As we continue things here for the HGC 2017 finals. Always nice to hear from Probius. Actually, we don't really get to hear from Probius too much, but there we go. It happened.
I'll tell you what. I had some crazy times with Probius a few years ago. It was really. I can't talk about it here. You know, proxy gating, forgating, but him and me go way back.
I remember all of that in StarCraft 2. Nice stuff. Nice stuff. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much. We are ready to go to a short break, but when we return, we have 2 more round of 8 matches coming for the HGC finals.